Late night glow on silent screens. Another story in between. Coffee cold, fingers fly beneath a vast, watchful sky.
Good evening, I'm Lydia Dela Cruz. Our top story tonight. Manibela, a transport group, has launched a 3-day nationwide strike beginning today, December 9th, 2025. The strike comes as drivers and operators protest what they describe as harassment and unfair treatment by traffic enforcers. The action is expected to disrupt public transportation across the country, leaving thousands of commuters searching for alternative ways to travel in Metro Manila. Long queues formed early this morning at bus terminals and train stations. Commuters reported waiting for hours, with some forced to walk to work or school. Local governments scrambled to deploy free rides using government vehicles to ease the burden. Striking drivers say they are fighting for dignity and fair treatment, claiming traffic enforcers have been issuing excessive fines and conducting what they call harassment operations. One driver told reporters, "We are not against modernization, but we cannot survive if we are constantly penalized unfairly." Commuters, meanwhile, expressed mixed feelings, frustration at the inconvenience, but some sympathy for the driver's plight. The Philippine National Police, PNP, has deployed personnel to major transport hubs to maintain peace and order. Officers are also assisting stranded passengers, ensuring safety at protest sites. The Department of Transportation reiterated its call for dialogue, urging Manibela to return to the negotiating table, while Metro Manila is the epicenter. The strike has spread to key cities in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Reports from Cebu and Davao show similar scenes of halted jeepneys and long commuter lines. Provincial governments are coordinating with barangays to provide emergency transport services. The strike highlights ongoing tensions between transport groups and the government's public utility vehicle PUV modernization program. Critics argue that modernization policies are being enforced without adequate financial support for small operators. Supporters say modernization is necessary to improve safety, reduce emissions, and modernize the country's transport system. As the strike continues, commuters are urged to plan ahead and make use of alternative transport options provided by local governments. Authorities say they will monitor the situation closely over the next 3 days. For now, the streets remain quieter than usual, but the voices of drivers and commuters are louder than ever. Tonight, we turn to the heart of the transport strike. At the center of this action is a powerful claim. Drivers of public utility vehicles say they are being harassed by traffic enforcers. This allegation has sparked outrage, solidarity among transport groups, and now a nationwide stoppage of service. Drivers report being stopped repeatedly for minor infractions, with fines that they say are excessive and inconsistent. Some allege that enforcers target them during peak hours, creating maximum disruption and pressure. Others claim that enforcement has become less about road safety and more about revenue generation. One driver explained, "We are not criminals, we are workers. Every ticket, every fine takes food off our families' tables." Transport leaders argue that harassment is systemic, pointing to patterns of enforcement that disproportionately affect small operators. They say modernization policies are being enforced with punitive measures rather than supportive programs. Commuters caught in the middle express frustration. Many sympathize with drivers, acknowledging that enforcement can feel heavy-handed. Others worry that the strike punishes ordinary citizens more than it pressures authorities. A student interviewed at a bus stop said, "I understand their fight, but I just need to get to class. It's hard to choose sides when you're stranded." The Land Transportation Office, LTO, and Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, MMDA, deny harassment, insisting that enforcement is necessary to maintain order on congested roads. The Land Transportation Office, LTO, and Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, MMDA, deny harassment, insisting that enforcement is necessary to maintain order on congested roads. Officials say tickets are issued based on clear violations, not personal targeting. The Department of Transportation has called for calm urging both sides to return to dialogue. The strike underscores a deeper tension between modernization goals and the realities of everyday drivers. Allegations of harassment highlight the lack of trust between enforcers and transport workers. Analysts warn that unless addressed, these disputes could derail the government's broader transport modernization program. As the strike continues, the question remains, are traffic enforcers upholding the law, or are drivers being unfairly burdened? For now, commuters bear the brunt of the conflict, walking long distances and waiting for scarce rides. The next 3 days will test not only the resilience of the commuting public, but also the government's ability to balance enforcement with empathy. Protests that began in Metro Manila on December 5th have now spread across the entire country. What started as localized demonstrations by transport groups has quickly escalated into a nationwide movement, signaling the depth of frustration among public utility vehicle drivers and operators. The first wave of protests erupted in Quezon City and Manila, where jeepney drivers staged rallies outside government offices. Demonstrators carried placards denouncing alleged harassment by traffic enforcers and calling for fair treatment under modernization policies. By December 6th and 7th, the protests had grown, with drivers parking their vehicles along major roads, effectively paralyzing parts of the capital. By December 9th, transport groups in Cebu, Davao, Baguio, and Iloilo joined the strike, amplifying its reach. Reports from provincial cities show similar scenes. Jeepneys and buses halted, commuters stranded, and local governments scrambling to provide emergency transport. The nationwide expansion demonstrates solidarity among drivers who say their grievances are shared across regions. In Metro Manila, commuters faced hours-long delays, with many walking to work or school in provincial areas. The strike disrupted not only daily commutes, but also deliveries of goods, affecting local businesses. A vendor in Cebu remarked, "Without jeepneys, customers can't reach the market. It's not just commuters who suffer. It's all of us." The Philippine National Police, PNP, deployed officers nationwide to maintain order and assist stranded passengers. Local governments rolled out contingency plans, including free rides using buses, trucks, and even military vehicles. The Department of Transportation reiterated its call for dialogue, warning that prolonged disruption could harm the economy. Analysts say the rapid expansion from Metro Manila to nationwide protests reflects deep-seated tensions over the POV modernization program. The protests highlight a lack of trust between transport groups and authorities, with drivers insisting that enforcement feels punitive rather than supportive. The strike has become a test of government responsiveness and the resilience of the commuting public. What began as a protest in Metro Manila just days ago has now become a nationwide movement. The next few days will determine whether dialogue can ease tensions or whether the strike will continue to paralyze country's transport system. For now, the voices of drivers and commuters echo across the Philippines, demanding both fairness and solutions. As the nationwide transport strike enters its first day, the Philippine National Police has stepped in to maintain peace, and order officers have been deployed to transport hubs and major roads, ensuring that protests remain peaceful and that stranded commuters receive the help they need. In Metro Manila, police visibility has increased at Cubao, Monumento, and Baclaran terminals, as well as along EDSA. Officers are tasked not only with crowd control, but also with guiding commuters toward available transport options. Patrol units have been stationed at key intersections to prevent traffic bottlenecks and ensure that demonstrations do not escalate into disorder. Beyond the capital, police units in Cebu, Davao, and Baguio have been mobilized to support local governments. Coordination centers have been set up to monitor protest activity and respond quickly to any incidents. In some provinces, police vehicles themselves have been used to ferry stranded passengers, highlighting the scale of the disruption. Commuters express relief at the presence of police, saying it provided a sense of order amid the chaos. One office worker in Quezon City shared, "I was stranded for 2 hours, but the police guided us to a free shuttle. Without them, I wouldn't have made it to work." Others noted that while the assistance was welcome, the sheer volume of stranded passengers made the task daunting. Authorities emphasize that their role is not to suppress the strike, but to ensure public safety. Police spokespeople reiterated that drivers have the right to protest, but commuters also have the right to mobility. The challenge lies in balancing these rights while preventing tensions from boiling over. The deployment underscores the government's recognition of the strike's nationwide impact. Analysts note that the PNP's involvement reflects the seriousness of the disruption, as transport strikes often test both public patience and government responsiveness. The coordination between police and local governments is being seen as a critical measure to keep the country moving, even as drivers press their demands. For now, the Philippine National Police remains a visible presence at transport hubs across the nation. Their mission to keep the peace, assist commuters, and ensure that the strike, while disruptive, does not descend into disorder as the days unfold. Their role will be vital in maintaining calm and providing a lifeline for millions of Filipinos caught in the middle of this transport crisis. We now go to Sylvania Bastros.
I'm Sylvania Bastros, turning to the halls of the Senate, where Senate President Vicente Sotto III has made a significant announcement. He declared that the Senate is prepared to extend institutional assistance to Senator Ronald Dela Rosa should the International Criminal Court issue an arrest warrant against him. This statement underscores the Chamber's commitment to supporting its members, even in the face of international legal challenges. Sotto emphasized that lawmakers facing legal issues, whether domestic or international, are entitled to the same privileges and institutional support as those who previously encountered legal troubles. He framed the Senate's role as one of institutional solidarity, ensuring that senators are not left to navigate legal battles alone. The announcement comes amid reports that the ICC may pursue cases related to the country's controversial anti-drug campaign. Senator Ronald Dela Rosa, former chief of the Philippine National Police, has been a central figure in the government's war on drugs. His leadership during that campaign has drawn scrutiny from international human rights groups and now potentially from the ICC. The Senate's pledge of support signals that any legal proceedings against him will be met with institutional backing, not isolation. Historically, the Senate has extended assistance to members facing legal challenges, including providing counsel, logistical support, and institutional representation. Sotto's statement suggests that this precedent will continue, even in cases involving international courts. Analysts note that this stance reflects both a defense of legislative independence and a broader assertion of national sovereignty. The ICC's involvement raises questions about jurisdiction and the Philippines' relationship with international institutions. While the country has withdrawn from the ICC, cases filed during its membership period remain under review. The Senate's position may be seen as a pushback against external interference, reinforcing the idea that Philippine institutions should handle accountability internally. The announcement highlights the tension between international justice mechanisms and domestic political institutions. It also underscores the Senate's role not just as a legislative body, but as a guardian of its members' rights and privileges. For the public, the statement raises debates about accountability, sovereignty, and the balance between supporting lawmakers and ensuring justice. As the possibility of an ICC warrant looms, the Senate has made its position clear. It will stand by Senator Dela Rosa, offering institutional assistance and reaffirming its commitment to protect its members. Whether this stance strengthens national unity or sparks further controversy remains to be seen. For now, the Senate has drawn a line in the sand, signaling that its members will not face international challenges alone. The Philippine Embassy in Thailand has issued a strong advisory tonight, urging Filipinos living or traveling near the Thai-Cambodian border to exercise extreme caution. This follows reports of fresh armed clashes in the area, raising concerns for the safety of overseas Filipinos caught in the middle of regional tensions. Armed skirmishes broke out earlier this week between Thai and Cambodian forces along disputed border territory. Exchanges of gunfire and artillery have been reported, with both sides accusing each other of provocation. Civilians in nearby towns have begun evacuating, and local authorities are tightening security measures. The Philippine Embassy in Bangkok released a statement urging Filipinos to avoid travel to border provinces such as Sakayo and Surin. Those already in the area are advised to stay indoors, monitor local news, and maintain communication with embassy hotlines. The advisory also encourages Filipinos to register with the embassy for emergency assistance should the situation escalate. Filipino workers in Thailand expressed anxiety, particularly those employed in border towns. One teacher in Surin shared, "We are worried. The embassy's advisory helps, but we hope the clashes stop soon." Families in the Philippines are also monitoring developments closely, fearing for loved ones abroad. The Thai-Cambodian border has long been a flashpoint, with disputes over territory near ancient temples and resource-rich areas. Past clashes have led to casualties and temporary displacements, though both governments often move quickly to de-escalate. Analysts warn that renewed fighting could strain diplomatic ties and affect cross-border trade. For the Philippines, the advisory reflects its commitment to protecting overseas citizens, especially in volatile regions. The incident highlights the vulnerability of migrant workers and travelers during geopolitical conflicts. It also underscores the importance of regional cooperation through ASEAN in preventing escalation. As tensions rise along the Thai-Cambodian border, the Philippine Embassy's advisory serves as both a warning and a lifeline for Filipinos abroad. For now, vigilance and communication remain the best defenses against uncertainty. The embassy assures our Cababians that they are not alone, even in the midst of conflict far from home. Bulacan today reiterated President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s strong commitment to fighting corruption, with a particular focus on anomalous flood control projects. The palace emphasized that the administration will not tolerate irregularities in infrastructure spending, especially in projects meant to protect communities from devastating floods. Flood control projects have long been a cornerstone of government infrastructure programs, designed to safeguard vulnerable areas during typhoon season. However, investigations have revealed anomalies in bidding, contract implementation, and project delivery, raising concerns about misuse of public funds. Some projects were reported to be overpriced, delayed, or poorly constructed, leaving communities exposed to flooding despite large budget allocations. Presidential spokespersons stressed that Marcos Jr. views corruption as a direct threat to public safety and national development. The palace vowed to audit flood control projects nationwide, ensuring transparency and accountability in procurement and implementation. Officials said the president has instructed agencies to strengthen oversight mechanisms and penalize contractors found guilty of irregular practices. Communities affected by flooding welcomed the announcement, saying accountability is long overdue. A resident in Pampanga remarked, "Every year we suffer, yet billions are spent. If corruption is stopped, maybe we'll finally see real protection." Advocacy groups also praised the move, urging the government to extend anti-corruption efforts to other infrastructure sectors. Analysts note that corruption in flood control projects is not new, with past administrations facing similar scandals. Marcos Jr.'s renewed focus signals an attempt to restore public trust and demonstrate that infrastructure funds will be used responsibly. The fight against corruption is also seen as critical to attracting foreign investment and ensuring the success of broader development programs. The Philippines, one of the most disaster-prone countries in Asia, relies heavily on effective flood control systems. With climate change intensifying rainfall and typhoon activity, the stakes are higher than ever. Experts warn that corruption undermines resilience, leaving millions at risk during extreme weather events. Bulacan's renewed commitment to fighting corruption in flood control projects is more than a governance issue, it is a matter of survival for communities across the nation. As audits begin and accountability measures are enforced, Filipinos will be watching closely to see if promises translate into real protection against the floods that threaten lives and livelihoods year after year. Bulacan today highlighted Japan's infrastructure support as a source of immediate benefits for Filipinos. According to the Department of Public Works and Highways, these projects are not just long-term investments, they are already improving daily life, easing traffic congestion, and strengthening flood control systems across the country. Japan has been a consistent partner in Philippine infrastructure development, funding major projects under the government's Build Better More program. Current initiatives include road expansions, railway systems, flood management projects, and bridge construction. The DPWH emphasized that Japanese expertise in engineering and disaster resilience is helping ensure projects are completed efficiently and to international standards. Commuters in Metro Manila are already experiencing shorter travel times thanks to ongoing road widening and elevated expressway projects. Flood-prone communities in Bulacan and Pampanga report improved drainage systems, reducing damage during heavy rains. Local economies benefit from job creation, with thousands of Filipino workers employed in construction and support services. A jeepney driver in Quezon City shared, "Traffic is still heavy, but the new road sections make a difference. We feel the improvements already." Residents near flood-prone areas expressed relief, saying drainage projects funded by Japan have reduced water levels during storms. Small businesses near construction sites noted increased customer flow as accessibility improves. Officials stressed that Japan's support is not limited to funding, it includes technology transfer, training, and long-term cooperation. The partnership strengthens diplomatic ties, with Japan reaffirming its commitment to help the Philippines build resilient infrastructure against climate change and natural disasters. Analysts say this collaboration boosts investor confidence, showing that the Philippines can deliver large-scale projects with international backing. Infrastructure support from Japan is seen as vital in addressing chronic issues like traffic congestion, flooding, and uneven regional development. The DPWH emphasized that these projects are designed to benefit ordinary Filipinos immediately, not just in the distant future. The initiative reflects a broader vision, building a safer, more connected, and more resilient Philippines. Japan's infrastructure support is more than a diplomatic gesture, it is a lifeline for communities across the Philippines. From smoother roads to stronger flood defenses, the benefits are already being felt. As projects continue to roll out, Filipinos can expect not only improved mobility but also greater resilience against the challenges of climate and urban growth. This is Sylvania Bustros for the Filipina Television Network. Magkaroon ka ang pinagpalang gabi at malagayang Pasko.
Late night glow on silent screens.